Nestled in the Eurotas River valley of the Peloponnese Peninsula, Sparta rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most feared military powers the ancient world had ever witnessed. Around 900 BCE, Dorian Greeks settled in the region of Laconia, establishing small villages that would eventually merge into the city-state known as Sparta. Unlike Athens, which celebrated art, philosophy, and democracy, Sparta carved a completely different path, one forged entirely in discipline, sacrifice, and the relentless pursuit of military excellence. The geography of the region played a significant role in shaping Spartan identity. Surrounded by mountains and fertile plains, the Spartans found themselves in constant conflict with neighboring peoples, particularly the Messenians, whose land they desperately wanted. Two brutal wars against Messenia, fought between the 8th and 7th centuries BCE, resulted in Spartan victory and the enslavement of the Messenian people, who became known as Helots. These Helots vastly outnumbered their Spartan masters, and this constant threat of rebellion forced Sparta to militarize every aspect of its society in ways no other Greek city-state ever attempted. The cornerstone of Spartan society was the agoge, a brutal state-sponsored education and training system that transformed ordinary children into extraordinary soldiers. At the age of 7, Spartan boys were taken from their families and placed into military barracks where they would spend the next 13 years learning warfare, endurance, and survival. They were deliberately underfed to encourage resourcefulness, forced to sleep on reed beds they cut themselves, and subjected to harsh physical and psychological challenges designed to break the weak and forge the strong. Girls were not excluded from physical training either. Spartan women were expected to be physically fit, capable of bearing strong children, and mentally resilient enough to send their sons and husbands to war without showing grief. The famous Spartan phrase attributed to mothers, "Return with your shield or on it," perfectly encapsulates the cultural expectation that death in battle was preferable to cowardly retreat. By the age of 30, Spartan men who survived the agoge became full citizens, known as Spartiates, and were permitted to live with their families, though they remained part of the military system until the age of 60. The 5th century BCE marked the absolute peak of Spartan power and influence, when the Persian Empire under King Xerxes launched a massive invasion of Greece in 480 BCE. It was 300 Spartan warriors led by King Leonidas, who stood at the narrow coastal pass of Thermopylae, holding back an army estimated in the hundreds of thousands for 3 days. Though ultimately defeated through betrayal, the Battle of Thermopylae became a defining moment not just for Sparta, but for all of Western civilization, symbolizing courage, sacrifice, and the refusal to surrender in the face of impossible odds. Following the Persian Wars, Sparta emerged as the undisputed land power of Greece, leading the Peloponnesian League, a coalition of city-states that stood in direct opposition to the growing naval empire of Athens. Tensions between these two superpowers eventually erupted into the Peloponnesian War, which lasted from 431 BCE to 404 BCE. After nearly 3 decades of devastating conflict, Sparta emerged victorious, dismantling the Athenian Empire and establishing itself as the hegemon of the entire Greek world. Spartan dominance proved surprisingly short-lived. The very system that made Sparta powerful also contained the seeds of its downfall. The Spartan population of full citizens, the Spartiates, steadily declined over generations due to battlefield losses, strict inheritance laws, and a rigid social structure that failed to replenish its numbers. By 371 BCE, the city of Thebes dealt Sparta a catastrophic defeat at the Battle of Leuctra, shattering the myth of Spartan invincibility forever. Sparta never truly recovered its former glory, gradually fading into a regional power of little consequence as Macedonia under Philip II and later Alexander the Great reshaped the entire Greek world. Yet the legacy of Sparta endures powerfully across millennia. Modern concepts of discipline, military training, minimalist living, and civic duty all carry unmistakable echoes of Spartan values. The word Spartan itself has entered everyday language as a synonym for austerity and toughness, a testament to how deeply this ancient warrior culture embedded itself into the human imagination.